Alrighty. We're going to do a little bit of on the box. I have... This thing is all crooked. There we go. On the box. With Maddox Bainter. Going to talk about his wrestling. I'll leave we kind of started recording this, but we're going to do this a little bit differently. Tonight we're just going to talk about some interesting things that goes through Maddox's head. We'll kind of talk about his state this year. He did win state this year. Max Bainter is a 2-time SDWCA state champion, a 2-time runner-up in SDWCA state, and also has placed third. Tried Tulsa once, but I weren't ready for it. And we've done other regional level tournaments and stuff. He's placed third at Rumble in the Red, and he has also placed sixth. Finals match at state this year. What happened last year? Didn't have a good finals, right?
No.
And you got second, right? You want to talk about that at all? Or you just want to talk about this year, or you want it?
I want to talk about both years.
Okay, well, let's start a little bit with this year. So you got taken down, right?
Come up, Max. You're good, dude. Breathe, Maddox.
So what were you thinking right after you got taken down?
I'm like right before.
No, you. So you almost you shot in, but it was a bad shot, and you kind of stuffed you on it and still made it out, right? And then you were back on your feet, and you took another. What did you shoot? Yes, you did shoot.
And I caught his leg.
And then but he really stopped you on that shot, I think. Did you shoot? Yeah, I think you did shoot.
And I got his leg, and then he just sprawled really hard.
Sprawled really hard, and then what? You came up?
Yeah.
I don't remember if that actually happened in the match.
We'll have to go through it.
I think the first time you shot, you sprawled out of it. I don't think the second time you did. But you had an overhook, right? And you tried to rush him or whatever. So what Maddox did is he had an overhook on him, or a whizzer, or whatever you want to call it. And the kid basically had an underhook, right? Because that would be the opposite.
Right there.
No, he didn't take you to your back.
Yeah, he flipped me to my back, and I tried.
Dude, it must have been quick because by within a split second you were on your belly. Kind of rate wrestling's positions. Basically there's 3 main ones, right? You have what? Neutral, top, and bottom. And so what we do is we kind of rate. We really think these are different things. These are different parts of the sport. I mean, this should be I feel like I'm explaining the obvious, but I do think some people don't get that. But the thing is even though these are different parts of the sport, it doesn't mean that things don't translate. It doesn't mean if you have really good top or bottom wrestling, that does make you better in a scramble, I would say. And technically, learning how to scramble on the feet makes you a better top and bottom wrestler. It's really just that simple, because even though these are 3 parts of the sport, wrestling is just what?
Having fun.
So that's when you lose day. Wrestling is just what?
Winning.
Wrestling is just wrestling, right?
Oh.
I rate Maddox around an 8 on top. However, on his feet, I rate him a
4.
maybe a 5.5 to a 6. I'm not even kidding. He's
5
pretty good. He is pretty good. He's very quick, but he's not super strong.
Look, I can show you I can do a pull-up.
No, when I do pull-ups, yeah, one pull-up, man. There's kids out there with a pinky game.
No, it's not.
But anyways, on your feet, maybe a 6. I'd say a 6 on your feet.
6
on bottom, a 3. No. So then what happened? You said, I thought if I could reverse him, what?
If I can reverse him, then I can maybe pin him.
Okay, then what'd you think after that?
Headlock.
Headlock. You probably did.
No, whenever his head came up, I'm
Step over a Whizzer. You had a Whizzer. You have an
He
overhook.
had a seatbelt.
And he had a seatbelt. And you can step over a seatbelt. When they have a seatbelt, you can step over. You can't step over a Whizzer. Don't do that.
And then he did change the Whizzer, and I still got everything.
I think he tried to go to an underhook, but it was too late. You already stepped over, and it rolled him over. So when someone has a seatbelt, you can step to the far side of them. The problem is if they go from a seatbelt to an underhook, they can pull you under.
Wait, what was his name?
But
again?
if you keep a seatbelt and you have a stronger hip base, which we normally do, You need to step over.
What was his name again?
Andrew. You wrestled him a few years ago. He's pretty tough, but
And I pinned him in the same move that I pinned him.
I don't think you pinned him. I actually don't know if you pinned
Yes,
him.
I did.
You pin him?
Yes. I
What the
pinned him
what?
in the second period.
Maybe.
I pinned him in the same way.
No, you didn't pin him in the same way. You don't even remember. Where did you wrestle him in?
Chester. Whenever I got that like 2-inch trophy. I mean that like that.
They're huge. They're pretty big trophies, huh?
I can grab it.
No, we don't need to grab it. Anyways.
I have too much trophies, anyways.
Yeah.
I just.
A lot of plastic. Anyways, so.
My kids said don't need it because they might chew on it.
All right.
So I beyond my trophies.
Okay, let's talk about the match. So, anyways, you reverse them. It's end of the period, right? And so you're choosing. You kind of like coaching me. You're like, pick down.
No, you guys wanted neutral.
We wanted neutral.
Yes, you're like, stop. No, you guys wanted.
I think
down.
I wanted down because you were down a point.
And my face was like.
And Maddox is like a top. So.
And you're like, sure. I'm like.
Yeah, that's the only bad part about when you have a really good top wrestler.
Yes.
And it's sort of like this in wrestling. You really should like work on your neutral. Long story short, you pick top. Then what?
I'm like, thank you, Coach.
So when you got on top, what was your thinking process? What were you thinking?
Okay. I can pick top. Now I'm ready to pin some kids.
Okay.
I'm ready.
You are like unfocused now. Yes, he also gets unfocused. Let's talk about last year.
Oh, shit.
So what happened last year at State? Now we're going to talk about the hard stuff since he wants to be so giggly. What happened last year at State? Let's see how you... Now that you're super giggly, let's talk about last year.
I was funny.
No, yeah, it was pretty funny.
What?
First day, you're just, crushing kids, right?
And then the second day I
Second day, when did you lose that match?
Before
it even started. What were you thinking?
Can you my ear? I mean...
You were thinking what before it started? You were thinking like, oh no, what ifs, right?
Yeah.
How did that work out for you?
Not good.
Not good. Don't what ifs. Why were you thinking what ifs? There's probably a couple of reasons, right? He had already beat you, right? So you had concerns there. And then what?
And my sister wants
Just watched his sister win her third state title.
And
So
now she just
Maddox
won
is
her
sitting
fourth.
up there before his state title with family, watching his sister win her third state title, and he knows he's going up against a tough match.
I thought she was gonna lose that.
So anyways, then what happened? So you kind of got yourself back together for a little bit, right? But anybody that's wrestled at like a higher level than you kind of understands that if you let emotions like dictate you or take control too much, like what really happens is you get like an adrenaline spike and then you get an adrenaline dump. When you get an adrenaline dump, you're like, it's hard to get going. You wrestled pretty tough, but man, you like, it wasn't but like one or two mistakes and then you were like starting to flip out in the match, right? It wasn't like he was doing anything bad. It's just like he was falling apart. Back to this year now, in State Finals 2025, and you did what? You did some crab riding, right? Caught a short hook, stacked him, right?
I did not stack him. He rolled out and then I got him in a Turk. And I went.
Well, you did stack him, but you didn't pin him because you kind of like missed a short hook. Well, or like when you were like rolling through, he kind of like wiggled and you weren't expecting it. So anyways, he rolled out of the short hook, which doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. And then what?
He slips his arm out and I have him like in basically a pancake.
While you're holding him in that pancake, what were you thinking?
Like, Pancake is a pretty good move. I should catch him. And I was like saying like, come on, baby, you got this. Come on, I can pin him.
Alright. Ref hits the mat, and you did pin him. Then what were you thinking?
I was like so excited about you.
Yeah. So anything that you want to tell
people about like your experiences here at state, like what you learned, how you felt, whatever, you know, like what like just whatever you can think.
Okay, so guys, all you do is just don't get overconfident or you might lose.
Okay, you about done?
Yeah.
How many pull-ups are you gonna do for the finish the on the box?
15.
Hold on, let me get this thing aiming correctly. It's being fun.
I'm gonna show you how many I can do.
All right, let's see it. This will end it. 35 minutes. Let's see how you can do it. Let's go. As many as you can do. And that's it. That's on the box.